Sorry about that, my recording stopped. So I reinstalled those bolts. And we're gonna just go back onto this side and orientate it the correct way. And we'll just go ahead and slide it into place. See that right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually I'm able to leave it right there. Alright, give me 1 second. Since I don't have any red Loctite, I'm just gonna use this blue stuff that I had laying around. We'll just go ahead and put a little bit on each bolt. Get it to come out. Alright, and we'll go ahead and just install the bolts in there. Well, let me need both hands for this, so I'll be right back. Alright, so I got them in. I'm gonna torque them down to 101 foot-pounds, so I'll be right back when I do that. Perfect. Alright, so next step will be get my chair. I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall the top part of my caliper. I don't know if you're seeing any of that or not, but there we go. I'm just gonna leave it like that for now. We're gonna fold it up, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the next step, which will be we'll grab an old brake pad, set it up in here. If you get the one with the clip on it, it'll hold itself in place. Grab your C-clamp, and we're gonna go ahead and clamp it down and push those shocks back inside there, so we could get our new brake pads on there. I'm kind of tightened down. 1 second. So, you want to try to keep the C-clamp as centered as possible. See how I have it there? And then start pushing her in. Since these calipers have this thing in the middle, it blocks you from doing both at the same time, which would be the preferred method to do so. So you can push them in at the exact same time. Well, the way these are, are made, you can't do that. So Honda tries to make it a little more tough on you. So we'll just go ahead and keep twisting it in. And see, it's compressing this shock right here. And what we want to do is flatten them completely down to make room for our new brake pads. We're just about there on this one, so go ahead and loosen her up. And she pretty much pushed the other one in, but they're uneven. So got her on the bottom now. Push her in as far as possible. Loosen it. Sorry about being all bumpy and shit. It's just kind of hard to do with one hand. And so we'll push on this one a little bit more. Just trying to even it all up. And it's about good enough right there. Toss our C-clamp. And now what we want to do is go ahead and grab our brake setup. You want to make sure that you're paying attention to these two hardware pieces are different. You want to try to make sure that you reinstall them the way they came out. In my case, go ahead and you want to kind of get the back end and then get them lined up first. Push the back end and then kind of pop the front over. So push down back, pull up to the front, and you pop in, back, pull up to the front. And then just make sure that they're seated completely. Double check, make sure you ain't touching the caliper or the rotor. And then same with the top. Just about like that. Alrighty, so what I also like to do is I like to get a little anti-seize and put just a little bit under the surfaces where the brake pads slide against. Kind of a lot on this one. Alrighty. So I also like to get a little anti-seize on the back of the brake pads themselves. So the way I get them set up is with the spring, it's going to go on the back side. And we'll go ahead and put a little copper anti-seize on the back of this brake pad. There's going to be a lot of friction on the back as well as the front. I mean, of course the front's going to has a lot of friction on it, but the back will also, due to the springs. Put them in the correct orientation. And Slide them into place. That's one. So copper anti-seize in the right orientation. Go ahead and slide them into place. And make sure they're completely flat on the rotors themselves. And we'll go ahead and install these last two little pins. So on the brakes themselves, they have these little holes right here and over here. Just set right down in there. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this with 2 hands, so I'm gonna have to wait. So I'll be right back. Alright, so what I did was I got those 2 clips in place, and then I slid the caliper over it as soon as I could because she's trying to push out due to those 2 springs, which it helps keeps the brakes from just resting on the rotor itself. You want to make sure those are on there though when you put this in there. Look around and try to peep in there. There's a couple holes right here that you can look in there and see if they're on there, because if they're not, it could possibly make your brakes wear lopsided. You don't want none of that. So next step will be, we got this top one on, we're gonna go ahead and put this bottom one on. Sometimes they're tricky to line up, but looks like we're good on this time. On top. All this stuff to be able to move freely. That's exactly what it's doing, so that's good. You gotta torque these down to 53 foot-pounds is what the manual calls for. So give me a second, I'll set up the torque wrench and I'll be right back. Alright, so we're on there, torque wrench on, 53 foot-pounds. 1, 2. And then I'd like to go over them again just to be completely sure that's all right. Perfect. So we got that done now. Everything feels smooth, looks good. And go ahead and make sure that you take your bungee cord out of there. I'm gonna leave that in there. It's also a good time to inspect anything else that you got going on in there. Just give things like a good pull on. If anything has any play, then you're gonna have some problems. You want to look into it. All right. So the next step is replacing your tire. Let's go over here real quick. I went ahead and cleaned up a little bit of the inside of the tire. A lot of the stuff's hard to get out, you know. And then I cleaned up all the brake dust off of it. So at least my front tires are gonna look good. My back tires are still dirty, but how it goes, man. So let me get this tire up on here because I know I'm not gonna be able to do it with one hand. But I'll be right back. So I got the tire on. Got the lugs all just hand on there, fingered on there. 22 millimeter wrench or socket. I'm just gonna hand tighten them all down for now. Let's do these two for now, so it's pretty darn close to being flat, and then we'll go ahead and start patting. Well, so we got her on there. I'm gonna torque her down to, well, we're gonna take her off the jack stands and set her down, and then we'll torque her down to 94 foot-pounds is what the service manual requires. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comment section, and I'll get back to you right away. So thanks for watching, and I hope it helped. Like I said, any questions, just let me know, and I'll figure it out and let you know. So have a good one.